Hello and welcome to In Depth. I'm Tina Jha. Recent years have seen the digital payments growing exponentially in India. Digital transactions have grown from 220 crore rupees in 2013-14 to more than 2,000 crore rupees in the year 2017-18. Last year itself, there were some 3 billion mobile transactions in the country, and all through smartphones via digital payment platforms, credit cards, and so on. But such a heavy digital payments traffic is not without its element of risk. Because when we make transactions through credit cards, our details are shared with the merchant side. And despite stringent security measures, instances of credit card fraud are on the rise. So to help solve the security problems caused by credit cards, we now have virtual credit cards. With features similar to a credit card, virtual cards do not have a physical form. Virtual credit cards can protect you from having your credit card information stolen in a data breach or through an unsecure connection. But how do these virtual cards work? How do we get them? How are these cards useful to you and how can they protect your identity? These will be some of the questions we'll try and answer today in depth. Not just individuals, companies around the world are also benefiting from digitization. But for many companies, managing incoming payments from customers can be a labor-intensive challenge. To deal with this, MasterCard is launching a virtual card receivable service that will digitize reconciliation of virtual card payments for businesses of all sizes. Payments and technology giant MasterCard is launching a new service designed to make it easier for B2B vendors to accept virtual cards. The company has announced the rollout of its virtual card receivable service, a tool that will digitize the virtual card payment acceptance and reconciliation process for businesses.
In fact, these are now equivalents to wallets. So what does a wallet do? Like for example, a Paytm wallet or a MobiKwik wallet do? Those don't have all of the monies of a bank, right? So you actually charge them. For example, you put some, let's say 10,000 rupees in a wallet and use that to do transactions. So exposure is just to that amount in the wallet, right? So this is kind of a competition to the wallet, and this can be used for transactions within a particular period of time for short amounts.
The service will aggregate virtual card payment data from MasterCard issuers, including the single-use virtual card number, as well as accompanying invoice and SKU information. It will then compile it into a comprehensive file in the format preferred by vendors. The file can then be sent as a Microsoft Excel or CSV document. The service will offer a safer alternative to the traditional methods that virtual card payment information is submitted to a vendor, which often occurs via fax or email. According to MasterCard, this consolidation of virtual payment data can more easily be integrated into suppliers' existing enterprise resource planning and other back-office systems. Besides, it also supports reconciliation and cash flow forecasting processes. By simplifying card reconciliation, MasterCard aims to help suppliers streamline their accounts receivable process, make data available faster, and with the same security and privacy standards that is available for all MasterCard products and services.
I think the most important part of protection is user awareness. Presently, as more and more people get cash payments and digital payments, users do not understand how easily can one be hacked, because all that you need are a few numbers and you can get cash from a user. So what is required is the user needs to be aware. Features like one-time passwords, features like verification from a third party need to be activated. Also, please ensure that you get a virtual credit card from a reliable company. The big banks, the known banks, the national banks, rather than going for a company which has just popped up on the internet and is providing a very good interest or a handling rate.
Traditionally, a virtual card number used for the payment is emailed or faxed to a supplier. But without standard digital formats for receiving payments, buyers resort to more analog delivery methods and suppliers are forced to manually reconcile information for every invoice. MasterCard claims these unique virtual card numbers are secure and can be accompanied by valuable data such as invoice numbers as well as SKU information. Accepting these cards can strain resources for accounts receivable departments of suppliers. By streamlining the approach to existing reconciliation processes, MasterCard is helping to improve the overall payment experience between buyers and suppliers. Focusing on the pain points of suppliers, MasterCard is working with VersaPay, a leading provider of cloud-based invoice-to-cash solutions, to provide a solution that eliminates the manual process of reconciling incoming payment information. The service is available to fintech and financial institutions that can extend the offering to their own corporate customers. With inputs from Astha Kulshresht, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. A virtual credit card is essentially a disposable version of the static debit or credit card that, when used for online purchases, can reduce the likelihood of credit card fraud. Virtual credit cards provide online retailers with dynamic information so that every time you pay using a virtual credit card, the verification data is completely different. This system also offers a number of security and security benefits with it.
A virtual credit card is also known as a controlled payment number. It is a temporary 16-digit number randomly generated that you can use to make online payments. It is not physically issued by the credit card provider. It is a free service provided by the original card issuer to customers who want to perform online payments with the help of their credit cards. Virtual credit cards are usually managed through a digital wallet. When you are ready to check out or make a payment, instead of entering your regular credit card number, you simply enter your virtual credit card number. Virtual credit card numbers can be used only once and may expire within a month if not used. This protects customers from being victims of fraud.
It is much more safer than credit cards in the sense that like you don't expose your actual credit card number. The virtual cards numbers will be, though it is tied to the actual credit card, the number of the virtual credit card will be different. So it is unique every time you do it. So in that way, it is not, you can't do, if chances of it getting into a phishing scam is actually very low.
Security features of a virtual credit card are very similar to the normal banking systems we have. The most secure methodology is OTP, that is the one-time password. Also, some credit card companies are now providing the service of verification via phone or having user-generated codes, which only last for 5 to 10 minutes. Depending upon the service you are availing, there are different measures which are in place.
Online retailers commonly store customer payment information for repeated use. Convenience can, however, come at a price if a hacker gains access to a retailer's online storage and your sensitive information. So, if you've ever paid for something online by entering static credit card data, you are technically at risk of fraud. But if you use a virtual card, the information stored can usually only be charged once. So even if a hacker does access your credit number, it's useless for their purposes. The virtual card issuers generally provide a software program to be set up on the customer's computer. This software helps customer generate an interim credit card number linked with their permanent one. Customers can then use this to make online purchases. This temporary number can't be traced back to the original credit card or to the customer's identity. So online hackers or deceitful merchants are not able to access sensitive data.
They are transient in nature in the sense that it actually, for example, a credit card might be valid for like 5 years, 6 years, whatever, right? So a virtual card will be valid only for a particular period of time, in which is the option of the prerogative of the customer to set the time limit. So in that way, the security features are much enhanced. So all of these measures are actually very welcome in the sense that they promote online transactions which are more efficient. In fact, the government has been taking a slew of measures over the past few years to enable online transactions which are actually easier and cost effective. Post demonetization, there has been a huge thrust on digital payments and making it a cashless economy, so on and so forth. The number of transactions has increased like 5-fold since the time of demonetization.
Virtual credit cards have been available to customers for several years now, but so far they haven't been paid much attention. Back in 2016, a cash app, then known as Square Cash, introduced a feature that allowed users to use a virtual credit card, but the announcement failed to garner much traction. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time for a short break on the program. When we return, we'll talk about the advantages and disadvantages of virtual credit cards. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching In Depth. Virtual card numbers are temporary, randomly generated digits used in place of real account numbers. As virtual cards do not require users to share their actual debit or credit card numbers, they are meant to make online shopping much safer. But whether creating a virtual credit card is worth your time or not is still debatable. So in our next report, let's take a look at the pros and cons of using virtual cards. Plastic money, be it debit cards, prepaid cards, credit cards, reduced our dependence on cash. Today, technology has given us DigiMoney that has changed the way transactions are done. While our smartphones have become virtual wallets, virtual credit cards are still catching up. Virtual credit cards offer us security. It puts a degree of separation between online merchants and our actual credit card details, which means we may be less likely to fall victim to credit card fraud. Additionally, the ability to choose a credit limit and expiration date for your virtual credit card could reduce the risk of fraud. Besides, it cannot be stolen, and hacking its PIN is nearly impossible. Virtual credit card is also safe since it is for one-time use only. Such cards should normally be used within 24 hours after the number is generated. It also offers anonymity and are perfect for those who do not want to provide information about their plastic bank cards. Typically, virtual credit or debit card cost much lower than a physical one. They need to be paid for as they are sent via the internet. There is also no need to go to the bank for virtual cards that can be ordered through the internet. Using virtual credit cards through the digital wallet of your choice makes them a convenient payment option. Instead of having to pull a card out of your wallet, you may be able to simply grab your phone and make the payment from there. You can also pay for the goods from anywhere. The only thing you need is the internet access. You can use it on any merchant website that accepts MasterCard or Visa payment cards. But while using a virtual credit card may help keep your money safe while you're shopping online, it will be good to first ensure that your credit card comes with fraud protection insurance. Virtual credit cards are, however, not without problems. Primarily because of their limited availability, most banks do not offer the service yet. Further, they cannot be used to withdraw cash. Even if this service is provided, it can be very expensive to withdraw your own money since the issuer has to pay heavy network fees to ATM networks. Certain cards also may not be used for online purposes. Also, some cards have to be enabled for e-commerce transactions by sometimes calling up the issuer. Transfer of funds from the online purchaser's account to the merchant account takes time, and at times the goods are delivered before the actual payment is made. Another disadvantage is that even though the virtual credit card is widely accepted, some merchants have not fully accepted them.
In a virtual credit card, you can use it globally. You could be traveling abroad and you can use your virtual credit card to make payments for your airlines and your local travel. Similarly, fraud becomes much higher because of the laws of India are probably not working very well with the American laws. Also, the aspect which is extremely different is the acceptance of a virtual credit card. Now, a credit card is globally accepted, whereas e-wallets are only acceptable in the closed ecosystem.
Virtual card technology has been around for several years abroad, but fairly new in India. All in all, by using virtual credit cards, we can be sure that our credit card details are not falling in the wrong hands. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Virtual credit cards work like regular credit cards, but with better security. They act as a shield between merchant websites and funding source. But how do they offer extra protection, and how do these virtual cards actually work? Let's find out in our next report.
The process of using a virtual credit card is fairly new. The idea behind is to keep the actual credit card information safe by creating a virtual one that can be used online. A virtual credit card works in much the same way as a regular credit card does, but is designed to offer better security. Since this is a new concept, there are some specific stipulations and exceptions to the use of virtual credit cards that one needs to know before using it.
Another aspect that we really need to look into is financial fraud. For example, if you are using an international virtual credit card provided by service provider from the United States or Russia. Now, in India, the income tax return goes yearly. But the records of this virtual credit card are sometimes deleted right after the validity of the card comes to an end. Now, these would need to be really looked into. We need to come up with global norms so that globally we follow one practice. Recently, we have seen a lot of fraud happening because of international and local banking practices being different. In case of virtual credit card or in case of cyber finances, this will be a major issue to look into.
Virtual cards act like an extra layer of protection between the funding source and the merchant. Any authorized and completed transactions will be passed directly on to the funding source, including refunds. These cards can be a buffer in cases when data with merchants that you shop at get breached, the merchant overcharges, or grey market subscription scams. In most cases, the use of virtual card is limited to regular online purchases with a few exceptions. If one would like to keep certain recurring payments safe from hackers or credit card fraudsters, one can use a virtual credit card. This way, you are in control of your virtual card number, which means you can set your preferred expiration date. One should always keep in mind though that most virtual card numbers have a limit of about a year. If you are afraid of your sensitive information being compromised for any reason, one can change card numbers every few months, but one has to carefully keep track of the various credit numbers.
The virtual card need not carry the same number of your plastic credit card. Okay, so you can generate many virtual credit cards out of your credit card, actual credit card. And since it is online in nature and since it has a unique number that is not tied to your actual credit card, the security features are actually much enhanced. In the case of virtual cards, like since it is only for a small amount, assume you have a credit card with 1 lakh limit and you create a virtual card only with 5,000 rupees, the exposure of that gets reduced. Also, there's a time expiry period for a virtual credit card. Say, for example, say for like 48 hours or like 5 days, however it is. All the big banks, say SBI, ICICI, all of these companies actually have the option of creating virtual cards out of normal credit cards.
One can get a virtual credit card by applying through the banks or financial institutions that offer the service. Alternatively, one can use a third-party service to generate a virtual credit card. Currently, only a select numbers of financial institutions offer their customers the option of using a virtual credit card for online transactions. With inputs from Astha Kulshresht, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, so that's it from us in today's edition of In Depth. If you like today's program, we have more episodes that would be of interest to you. In the past, we have decoded for you what a virtual SIM is and what blockchain technology means. You can also view our previous episodes on the future of Bitcoin as well as a virtual identity card. Please search for these programs using these names, but remember to prefix all your searches with RSTV in depth. We'll be back same time tomorrow with a comprehensive view on some other subject. Thank you very much for your time.